Oh my goodness. I feel like it's been forever.
Yeah, it hasn't, I don't think. Did we put out an episode last week and it just like feels like a week, like a year ago?
It just feels like a year ago.
That feels
I don't know why.
Right. I don't know. Well, you went away. You had like
I went away. Yeah. I got to pet goats.
How was it?
It was so awesome. Goats are so cute. I never really liked goats because my only experience with them was like at petting zoos as kids and they were scary.
Yeah.
But at these sanctuaries that we visited, the Wayward Ranch Animal Sanctuary and the Frederick Farm Sanctuary in upstate by the Catskills, New York, they're so well taken care of. They're so happy. The ones at Frederick Farms were like so cuddly. They all had different personalities. It was super fun. I highly recommend if you are feeling down or you just want to and you love animals, go visit an animal sanctuary, give them your money, pet some pigs, pet some goats.
It sounds delightful. The photos look delightful. I was lurking on your Instagram.
Yes.
So do you want to hop into this thing?
Let's do it.
Welcome to Witchcast!
'Cause it's Witchcast.
I'm Emily.
I'm Kate.
And we are your co-hosts of this, the Witchcast podcast.
That's right. We're your learning, growing, ever-evolving novice witches who don't know much, but we're trying to figure it out. And
we're learning. We're on our way.
Just explore everything in the witchy universe.
Yeah, we're just finding out. We're fucking around and we're finding out.
Ooh, I want that on a t-shirt.
That's a good one. That would be a good shirt.
Fucking around and finding out.
I'm fucking around. Man. I'm finding out.
We're doing our best, okay? And we really appreciate you being on the journey with us.
Yeah, like, thanks for coming along with us, you know? Like, if you know more, feel free to tell us. If you know less, you know, welcome to the journey, man. You know?
Welcome to the club.
Yeah.
I like being in the position of an eternal student, of always learning. I feel...
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. It's a good place to be, especially because I have a terrible memory, so it feels like I'm learning things for the first time all the time.
I feel like I relearn stuff all the time, and it's like, oh, yeah. Like, people will tell me about things, and I'm like, I don't remember that. Like, people will be like, Emily, you were there.
Oh my God, you have that too? I feel like I'm losing my mind sometimes with what I don't remember.
Yeah, that's very comforting. Yeah, it's like, because I very frequently am like, I don't think that's right. And everyone's like, yeah, it definitely happened. We were all there, and so were you.
Oh my God. Have you ever had that experience where you've like told a story and the person is like, yeah, I was there with you? Because I've had that. And then I feel like such a jerk. And I'm like, oh, you were right. Yeah, you were there.
Yeah, I feel like I'll say to Dan, like, was it you I was talking to about this before I talk about anything?
Like, yeah, you always have to preface, like, stop me if you heard this
Are you the
before.
person that I was having the conversation I'm about to tell you about with?
I've also noticed that on this podcast, like, I really don't like going back and listening to old episodes just because, I don't know, I get a little cringy about hearing my own voice and blah, 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 and like, whatever. Same. But I also realize when I do go back and listen, I'm like, man, I'm saying the same fucking anecdotes over and over again. Or like, wow, I learned all that and it's completely gone now. I can't believe I don't remember all this that we learned.
I have the same experience. First of all, I've never noticed you telling the same story.
Oh, that's good.
And second of all, yeah, I had to, just today, I was like, here's what I'm going to write about. Let me double check we haven't already done an episode on this. Because as I was reading it, I was like, this feels familiar, but maybe that's just because it's like all Western witch stuff is like...
all familiar. Yeah, it's all the same.
Basically the same. Just like different details, same fucking story.
Yeah. I feel bad if you're a binge listener, will you please write in and tell us how many times we repeat ourselves?
Maybe it's like the spiral dance, how she repeats herself a lot so that you really like hammer it home, you know?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It's on purpose.
Plus, we're not designing... This is really a podcast meant to be listened to as it comes out, or like, you know, you go back and you start from the beginning. It's episodic. You know, it's not really a binge. I mean, feel free to binge if you want to, but, you know, it's not... We're not designing it and writing it out for the binge format.
There's no, like, great master plan for a season.
Yeah, like, we're just old school sitcom writers.
This is like late season's Lost. Like, we're just kind of winging it, yeah.
Oh boy.
Whatever we're most interested in of the week. Yeah. But
Speaking
thank
of
you
which,
for being here.
yeah, today we're talking about just
Yes.
whatever the fuck we feel like. We each came in with like a little story or history kind of thing.
Yes.
Some facts to spit at you. Man, I don't know what I'm talking about sometimes.
Spit those facts.
Yeah. So I'm going to be talking about witch hats, how we came to know the black pointy hat. Where'd it come
I'm so
from?
excited about
Yeah.
this because I feel like, why haven't we talked about this yet?
Right? It feels like the kind of thing we would have covered at some point, but
Like
I
season 1
checked
material.
and didn't
Yeah.
see it in there, so I'm going for it.
Yeah, well, either way, here's a refresher if
Yeah.
we touched on. I don't think we have because I don't know the history of that.
Yeah.
But then again, we also just
just had a conversation about how
That I
neither
have
of
no
us
memory.
remembers anything. Are we okay?
I
Like
don't
a
know. That's
memento
loaded
style, like
question.
tattoos of every episode we've done, so that I
I
can
know.
remember.
Seriously. Well, if we had like a nice little producer or assistant,
Yeah, it's true. There could be someone taking notes that isn't
Someday.
us, I guess. That's the dream.
that's the dream. But it's okay. We have total creative control, so that's great.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah, and I'm talking about rocks today. I'm talking about stones, like stacking or balancing of stones and rocks, and all the myriad of ways that they exist and what they mean and all that. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah, I'm pumped. Do you want to go first or second?
I have no strong feelings either way.
Me neither. All right, I'll go first.
Yeah, you go first. I'm very excited to hear about witch hats.
I like going first because I feel like it takes the pressure off.
Yeah, and then you
Like
can
I'm
just
so
relax.
stressed out through this. I'm not.
No, don't be stressed.
No,
You're gonna do great.
yeah. So witch hats through history. I'm fine. Everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
So I feel like, I wanted to talk about witch hats because I thought, I was trying to think of something that would be kind of short and fun, but like that I'm curious about. And so this was something. We think of the black pointy hat as being sort of classic witch vibes, but I was like, where did it come from? And as with everything in the witchy world, when I Googled it, the answer is sort of no one exactly knows how it started per se, but we can look at a bunch of different historical things and see how we got here, sort of loosely, nebulously putting it all together. I think that I got all of the centuries right on this in my notes, but frankly, if I didn't, I'm sorry. I might be off by 100 years here or there. Just shooting straight from the hip on this one.
I honestly don't know if anyone's going to fact check you on that.
Every time
but-
someone says medieval, I have to Google when medieval was.
Oh God. to me, Shakespeare, King George, medieval, Renaissance, it's all the same time period to me.
It's just a
long
big
time ago.
old wibbly English thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
They
basically...
pooped in the streets. Sorry. That's all that we need
They
to know.
pooped in the streets.
They pooped in the streets. Continue.
All right, so the earliest known incidence of black cone hats is actually probably not related to why we think of witches as wearing hats, but fascinatingly is Chinese mummies from between the 4th and 2nd centuries BCE called the Witches of Subeishi, who were buried in black felt cone hats.
What?
Yeah, isn't that wild? That's the first known incident of people
Mind-blowing.
wearing big black felt cone hats. And they call them the Witches of Subeishi in part because of the black cone hats. Like, really, this didn't influence the hat versus the hat influenced the name. But I think it would be really interesting to do like a whole separate academic deep dive episode on this. It's not
Yeah.
for today, but they were like buried, first of all, in like super cold temperatures. So they're super well preserved. The article I was reading was by an archaeologist or a historian. I don't actually know what he does, but he was from a university.
Some smart dude.
Yeah, and he first saw them in the 80s and was like, there's no way these are real. How are they so well preserved? And then they found other mummies in that same part of China that were super well preserved. And he was like, holy shit. And then he went back and like studied them. But what was super interesting about the Witches of Subeishi, it's 3 women that were buried together in tall black felt cone pointy hats, and they were buried with the, like technology that didn't exist in like the plains part of China yet at that point, like wheels and grain and stuff like this. And so I was not able to find out on a surface level dive what the fuck is up with that, but I thought that was pretty neat.
Wait, okay, so just to clarify, nowadays we call them the witches of Sebashi, but like that's not, we don't know
We have
who
no
they
idea.
are.
Yeah,
or what
yeah,
they,
we don't know
we
anything
just
about
call
them.
them witches because we found them with black cone hats. It's not like
Because it's three ladies in black cone hats that were weirdly well preserved with a bunch of technology that shouldn't have existed.
That is wild. That is wild.
Isn't that cool?
Oh my god, we have to do a deeper dive on that.
Yeah. So that's like a whole separate episode. But just a little fun fact about the earliest known pointy black hat.
Crazy.
From there, we kind of skip forward to like the year 1000 or like medieval England. Medieval England at that point, occasionally, witches, like, you know, because the witch hunts and all that, you know how they do. They'd
be killing bitches.
Very occasionally, there was a thing where they would get accused witches like a church steeple shaped hat to bring them just like a little bit of God before they die, like one last shot to save their soul. Huh. Bring a little God down on them, in theory. That's what we know about that. That was not a common practice, but that's where we start seeing a little bit of witch hat. There's something I'm going to come back to because it's probably the big why as to what all happens here, but I'll talk through the history first and then loop back. All right, so 1066 to 1400, which is sometimes little steeple hat. In the 1500s, some folk artists start using pointed hats to evoke devil horns in their like artwork. And by the 1600s, there's like some occasional woodcuts that are a little more like mainstream of spellcasters in bonnets and stuff like that. And by the 1700s, kids storybooks, it's everywhere. It's like everybody's doing it, and people are like retroactively modifying older depictions of witches and spellcasters to have pointy hats. So why did this happen? So so we know how the world is anti-Semitic, right?
Yes.
Things in Jewish history, not so fun a lot of the time.
Yeah.
To vastly understate it. So in very early, like let's say around the year 1000, Persian Jewish people were choosing to wear hats that were kind of a pointy hat. Not exactly, but it was there. And some other Jewish people, not everybody, but like some Jewish people would choose to wear a pointy hat. But in 1215, there was like a law that was enacted somewhere in Europe. I'm going to say, I don't know, could have been the Netherlands, could have been Denmark. Honestly, I didn't write it down. Might have been Germany. Somewhere in that general range. I guess none of those countries existed at this point. So let's just say somewhere in that area in 1215, they were like, hey, now all Jewish men have to wear that hat all the time to identify themselves, and called it the Judenhut. And so that happened, and that was like the thing for several hundred years. And by 1431, accused witches are now required to wear specifically the pointed Jewish hat that is, because all of the like bad stuff got mixed together, and they were like, Jewish people, witches, what's the difference? Put them in a ball, put them in the same hat. So that,
oh my God.
that sucks. And then it's compounded in the 18th and 19th century. So by the 1700s, so the 18th century, it's in kids' storybooks, like pointy hats are everywhere. And then it's compounded by the fact that the Quakers in the Americas keep getting in trouble because they won't take their hats off, basically, which is not a pointy hat, but it is a black felt hat. And like they're a minority, religion in the Americas, and the like majority religion is why won't they take their fucking hats off? And they're like, we're not allowed to. We think that God doesn't want us to take our hats off for you, because that's like it was their thing at that point, right? That they were like, the hat is supposed to stay on. It's I should lift it for God, but not for like a man. Because that's, and all this stuff about the monarchy and whatever else. Whatever else, let's not even touch on that. Right. And then so with all of this put together, it became a shorthand that was then, probably most officially solidified into the, black dress, black boots, black hat version that we know in 1900 in the book, The Wizard of Oz.
I was waiting for her to appear. Yes. Amazing.
Yeah. And then so the 1935 movie is what really brought that image into our modern public consciousness as that version of witch. And something I thought was really interesting is that now modern Wiccans actually sometimes choose to wear the hat because, as well as, whatever else the cultural associations, people think of it as a physical representation or echo of the cone of power, which we read all about in the spiral dance.
Yes, yes.
And that's how we got here. That's the whole history, give or take. There's a lot of other pointy hats in history, but like in terms of how we got here to our black pointy felt hats, that's the vibe.
That's so interesting. Yeah, I never really thought about it. Sorry, I'm like, what came first, the witch or the hat? But yeah, that's really interesting. And it's funny because in The Wizard of Oz, if you think about it, there's 4 witches. And Glinda is a good witch, and she's not wearing a pointy hat.
She doesn't have to wear a big
it
pointy
really
hat.
is the negative connotation of a evil, bad witch.
Right.
All in black, black pointy hat. Oh,
have we talked on this podcast about how the good witch is like a manifestation of like the tattler who tells on the other witches?
No, we should do.
I feel like that was on my list of episodes for this season. Now that I think about it,
Really?
Yeah, eventually maybe. But
you know that I was obsessed with The Wizard of Oz as a child.
I know, yeah.
Like, I knew every single line, every single frame of that movie. I had a million toys. I was such a fucking gay nerd.
I love it so much.
So I'm always down to have a philosophical talk about witch representation in The Wizard of Oz and the Frank L. Baum books. Absolutely.
Yeah. There's a whole thing about like the historical, similar history, same sort of beats as the hat situation, but the good witch being like the one that engages with the community and maybe the like patriarchal figures and being the one that's sort of like, she's the bad one.
The snitch, yeah.
Yeah. So like you're allowed to have a certain amount of power as long as you defer to other people and like don't let other people have it.
Yeah, that's so patriarchal.
Anyhowsers. Yeah, so it's basically all about like people associated with like Jewish people with like magic and devil worship, and they also thought that Quakers like danced with the devil and all this stuff in their things.
Pretty much anything labeled as other, right? Anything that was deviating from whatever the mainstream, norm was.
Yeah. And I love, not in like a haha fun positive way, but I love that it was like, you have to wear this hat. People who wear that hat are weird. And it's like, oh.
Yeah. I mean, I love it. I feel like, would you wear a pointy hat nowadays, like as part of a fashion statement? Just,
I don't know. I feel like it's
day.
very like teen goth. It's very hot topic. You know what I mean? Like,
it is. I've seen some versions now that they're a little bit more like kind of the sorting hat style, where they're a little more like
with the little flop on top.
They're a little floppy, a little snuffly, and they can be seen as more kind of like a sun hat. It can be cute. I think there's ways that you can make it.
I see it. I guess I also probably wouldn't wear a pointed hat just because I wouldn't want to accidentally look a little KKK. You know what I mean?
Oh my god!
Like I don't think there's any situation.
But they're black hats.
Yeah, I don't know. It just like. I guess as long as it has like a big floppy rim, it's pretty clear,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like a really strict point could look a little like, what's going on there?
That thought never even crossed my mind. That's so funny. This is such a nerd rant, but I have to also say that Sims 4 released a whole spellcaster pack, specifically all about like witch, they didn't call them witches, they called them spellcasters, but like your sim can train and become a witch and gain all these different spells and potions and all that. The whole pack doesn't have a single fucking witch hat in it.
What?
I know. I'm like, you don't even have like even just some sort of like kind of gardeny floppy.
Put a big old hat on it. Yeah.
What the hell, guys?
I will say I love a big floppy hat. I think if I found the right witch hat, I would for sure,
Yeah. I feel like it's something for a special occasion. Like if you're going to go to the lunar fair and be amongst other witches or whatever.
Yeah, slap on some dark lipstick and a long flowy dress. Like
love it.
That's a clear look,
Lots of jewelry. Yeah.
Like some Doc Martens, like military boot kind of.
That is my aesthetic.
Yeah. Me too.
Amazing. Cool. Well, that's great. Thanks for doing the research for us. I had no idea.
Yeah, what a world, right? And I was so interested that in that I stumbled on the Witches of Subeishi thing. I was like, ooh, that's very interesting.
Is mind blowing. We should definitely do another episode where we dive into that more. That's so fascinating.
Yeah. Anyway, Kate, I hand it over to you.
Why, thank you, Emily.
Yeah, so welcome.
Now we're going to talk about rocks.
I love rocks.
So I got the inspiration for this because while I was in the Catskills this past weekend hiking with goats, we, it was so sweet. The woman, Megan, who runs Frederick Farms, it's her home, it's her goats. She loves them so much. We totally vibed. But she has like this beautiful, she has acres of land, and she has this beautiful like hiking path around the outskirts of her property, or like right on the edge of her property. And she like takes the goats on a walk every day through this hike, and they can like climb up and down the rocks. She finds like dried leaves and balsam fir and stuff to feed them, which she calls goat chips. And throughout the walk, because this is like a guided tour, it's a tourist thing, you can buy tickets to do this. She has like little signs everywhere with goat facts and goat puns. And she had also some like branch woven peace sign wreaths hanging in the trees and some stacked rocks. And I was like, this woman is so witchy. I don't know if she calls herself that, but this is super witchy. And I just love the idea of this like goat witch. But she like takes such good care. Goat witch. She takes such good care of her goats. And like I noticed these little stacks of rocks, and she also has little fairy houses too that she has like put up in these like at the base of these trees. So I was like, oh, I love this. This is so magical. And I remember when I was hiking in Korea, in South Korea, we came across several of these like stacked rocks, little, I guess you could call them like sculptures, throughout the hiking trails. And even one of the people that had volunteered to take us on this hike, one of the locals, he even like stacked some rocks at the edge of this creek while we were like hanging out in the creek. And I have seen, so it's something that I think we've all kind of seen around, and but I wanted to dig more into like what is the background of these, like what is it, where does it come from, what does it mean, and is there spiritual meaning to them? Because it feels very spiritual to me to stack rocks. I don't know, coming across like little piles of stacked rocks in the woods feels very witchy.
Totally.
So,
when you brought this up, I was immediately like, oh, like Inukshuk's, which I want to talk about, but I know that you're going to, I don't know, maybe you'll mention it. And if not, I have so much to say. But
I'm totally going to hand it to you. I did do a little research on Inukshuk's, because these rock piles are like throughout all cultures throughout the world.
It's so crazy. Interesting. Okay, I will let you talk now. I just wanted to like
no, but I'm so excited to hear your personal experience and take on it. Because I have a whole section. We'll get to that. What was I gonna say? Preface. I'm going to mispronounce a lot of things because I'm going to talk about a lot of different cultures and different languages, and I'm going to mispronounce a lot of it, and I'm sorry. I did try and look up the phonetic, pronunciation. I'm doing my best. Okay. So rock balancing, stone balancing, rock stacking, whatever you want to call it, it's seen as an art form, a hobby. It can be seen as a form of vandalism. It can be used for spiritual or like memorial purposes. There's so many uses, but kind of the main Western known word for a man-made pile or stack of rocks is called a cairn, like the terrier, C-A-I-R-N. Coming from the Scottish Gaelic word cairn.
Cairn. Yeah.
Cairn. Sorry.
It's okay. I'm here.
Sorry, everyone. And thank you, Emily, because there is a lot of Scottish Gaelic in this. Okay, so they've been found throughout time and throughout the world. So in prehistoric times, we believe that they were used kind of as markers for memorials or burial monuments. Some of them are quite large and even like are used as chambers, kind of as a, what do you call it? Mausoleum, to hold bodies. Like they can be like literal buildings. Nowadays we mostly just see them kind of as landmarks to mark summits or paths on hiking trails or mountains. And sometimes people just like to do it for artistic reasons. So looking into the history throughout the world, in the Bronze Age, and let's start in Europe, because of the word cairn, they had really massive big structures, which they called kistvens, Kistvvaens, or dolmens, Dolmens, which contain the burials and bodies, like I mentioned. Similar are structures called tumuli or kurgans, but those were used with. You can make them out of stones, but the tumuli kurgans were traditionally made of earth. Sorry, there's so many words. Okay, so one tradition that I thought was really interesting. There's a ton of references in this and the research that I did, but in Scotland, it was traditional to carry a stone from the bottom of the hill and place it on a cairn at the top. That way that the cairns would grow larger every time someone went to the top of the hill. There's an old Scottish Gaelic blessing, which I'm not going to try and say in Gaelic, but it means I'll put a stone on your stone. In Highland folklore, it was believed that before the Highland clans fought in battle, the men would place a stone in a pile. Those who survived the battle would return and remove a stone from that pile. And then the stones that were left over were built into a cairn to honor the dead, which I thought was pretty cool.
Wow. Yeah. That's smart.
And going back to the earthworks, the tumuli kurgans, so that was also used as a defensive mechanism, like kind of, I would imagine, like a trench or tributary or whatever. But sometimes they would use stones, especially like in the area of the Aran Islands, because they just the landscape of the karst land did not really have a lot of soil, so they used what they had on hand. In Scandinavia, am I even saying this right? Cairns?
Cairn. Yeah, like
Cairns.
cairn terrier.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cairn. In Scandinavia, cairns have been used for centuries, marking certain areas along trails or in this as sea marks. In Iceland, they were used as markers as well along single file roads or pathways. Many of these ancient cairns are still standing, even though the paths are now gone. In Norse Greenland, cairns were used as a hunting tool to kind of create a game driving road to encourage reindeer towards a game jump. In ancient Greece, there was a myth that cairns were connected to the god of Hermes, who is the god of overland travel. According to one legend, Hermes was put on trial by Hera because he slayed her favorite servant, Argus. All the other gods were on the jury, and as a way to declare their verdict, they were given pebbles and then they were supposed to throw them at whoever they thought was right, Hermes or Hera, which I love that.
That is a very funny
It's
way.
just so simple. So Hermes ended up being buried under a heap of pebbles because he was so good at arguing his case. And that became the first cairn. In Croatia, in the areas of ancient Dalmatia, they're known as gromila. Again, I'm so sorry, guys. Okay. So in Portugal, they also use these rock stacks. They call them moledros. They believe, according to legend, that the moledros are enchanted soldiers. And if one stone is taken from this pile of rocks and placed under a pillow, in the morning a soldier will appear for a brief moment and then change back to a stone and then magically return to the pile. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but
Maybe something's lost in translation on that one.
yeah, there's probably some stuff lost in translation. They also use them to mark the place where someone has died, or they cover the graves alongside the road where people are buried, and that is called Fies de Deus. Yes, that's also the same name that they use when they use kind of unmarked graves for those who, the identity is not known. It means like the word fes or fies is thought to mean fairy, with the same root as fate, and it kind of mean spirits of the night, essentially. Moving over to North and Northeast Africa, which, by the way, I want to preface. So I'm going to go through kind of history and use throughout the world, and then we'll talk about modern use and modern spirituality.
Cool.
So, in Somalia, I'm guessing.
Somalia or Somaliland?
Somaliland, yeah.
Is that a place?
It's not to be confused with Somalia. Okay, so it's totally separate. This is the Republic of Somaliland, and I'm so sorry. I'm so American. Okay, we're just gonna keep going. That has a lot. That place is home to a lot of historical settlements and archaeological sites where they found numerous ancient ruins and buildings. But a lot of them have obscure origins. We're not really sure what the use and history of these cairns. Cairns? Oh my God.
It doesn't matter.
These rock stacks are, but they have there's a lot of ancient stacking of rocks that have been preserved over time. Moving on, there's a lot more, but I'm just going to kind of do top level. So moving on to the Middle East, in Genesis 31, the cairn of Gilead was set up as a border marker between Jacob and his father-in-law Laban at their last meeting. So it's still there in the Judean mountains, which I thought was cool. It's a big pile of rocks.
Huh, cool.
In Asia, also starting around the Bronze Age, there were burial cysts that were interred into cairns. Cairns. Rock piles. Cairns. They were usually positioned on the skyline overlooking the village of those that have deceased. A lot of those are now found in modern-day Mongolia. Stones may have been thought to deter grave robbers and scavengers, putting the stones on top of the burial sites. Or maybe they were there to stop the dead from rising. There also is a Jewish tradition of placing small stones on a person's grave as a token of respect, but we don't believe that to be related to the stacking of the stones in terms of cairn fashion. But of course, we also have the cairn fashion.
So hot right now.
It's so hot. Stupas in India and Tibet also probably started out in similar fashion of piles of rocks, although they now generally contain ashes of a Buddhist saint or lama. Also, there's traditions in Mongolia. They have a traditional and very decorated heap-formed version of the cairn called an uvu, and it serves religious purposes found in Tengriist and Buddhist ceremonies. Mm-hmm. In Hawaii, moving on to taking a quick stop in the Pacific, they are called ahu, and they're still being built today. They still are used. Traditionally, they were thought to be used as trail markers and sometimes funeral sites. Now they're also used as part of an altar or security tower, and used in ceremonies honoring ancestors and spirituality. And then in my research, they also mentioned in South Korea that cairns are often quite prevalent. You can find them on the side of roads and trails, on mountain peaks, adjacent to Buddhist temples, which totally lines up with my experience. Mm-hmm. And hikers will frequently add stones to try and just get one more on the top of the pile to bring good luck. And the tradition also has its roots in the worship of Sanshin, or mountain spirit, which is part of historical Korean culture, which I thought was cool. Again, this is very top level.
It's awesome.
We can always go in deeper into all of this if you're interested. Yeah. Moving on to the Americans. So indigenous people of the Americas have built similar structures of these rock stacks. Again, mostly as trail markers, as game driving lanes for hunting, like for buffalo jumps. But the most notable are the ones from northern Canada, Alaska, and Greenland, called Inuksut or Unugat, which is the plural of oh God, you have to help me. Okay.
Inukshuks? Yeah.
Inukshuks.
Yeah,
but I learned that there's two different main words. So there's Inukshuks and then there's Inukwaks or Gwats. They're two different style of rock stacking. So I'll just say what I learned, and then you tell me what you know, and tell me if I'm wrong or right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Inuksuk's is a man-made stone landmark or cairn. It's used by many. I'm not even going to go into the pronunciation of these peoples. I'm so sorry because I don't want to offend. But of many of like Inuit and adjacent indigenous tribes of the Arctic region of North America, they're found throughout, like I said, northern Canada, Greenland, and Alaska. They historically may have been used for navigation as a point of reference. Again, travel markers, fishing camps, hunting grounds, drift fences, to mark a food cache. They also were used in herding of caribou into contained areas, but they have ancient roots in Inuit culture. It's, again, the most common types of the plural, what I looked up with the plural of Inukshuk is Inuksut, is the stone placed upon the stone. And I'll post a photo of some of these on our Instagram so you can visualize what I'm talking about. But you've seen them. You know them. Now, the human-shaped cairns are the ones that I looked up were called Ununguak. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Ununguak or Ununguat. But those are ones made of stone meant to represent a human figure, which has become very widely familiar to non-Inuit people, particularly found in Greenland. But it's not the most common type of Inuksuk. It's basically an offshoot of that. And going into the modern usage, they are now, it's a cultural symbol. It's the centerpiece of the flag and coat of arms on the Canadian territory of Nunavut. Am I saying that right?
Nunavut, yeah.
And then they have Inuksuk High School.
It actually might be Nunavut. No, I think it's Nunavut. No, you know what? The thing is, growing up in the 90s in Canada, I'm not sure if it was right or if it was just like white people being like, close enough, you know? Like,
Right.
So
well, either
don't listen
way,
to me either. I think it's Nunavut.
Yeah, it's really cool that this is now, the Inuksuk is this big cultural symbol for also just Canada, I think also culture overall. It's become a mainstream Canadian national symbol. It's used, Inuksuk was the name for the International Arctic Art and Music Project of Arbos in the Canadian provinces of Quebec, Ontario, Nunavik and Nunavut, and in Greenland, Austria, Denmark, and Norway. The Canadian military personnel erected an Inuksuk on Hans Island back in 2005.
How fun.
Yeah.
Is Hans Island the one that we go back and forth with the one flag? Or is that something else? I'm going to Google that.
I don't know. But there's like a plaque and a Canadian flag there. It's part of Canada's long-standing dispute with Denmark.
Yeah.
Over the island. Okay.
Wait, okay, so
there's like there's like a 9-meter tall Inuksuk that
Wait,
stands.
This is the most Canadian international relations thing. Wait,
I
love that they built an Inuksuk as a way to like make it more like no, this is Canadian. So it's Canada and Denmark have both claimed the same tiny island, and by tiny I mean a half square mile.
Oh my gosh.
It's like just a giant rock in the sea. But so they just put whoever's been there most recently puts their flag in.
That's so funny.
Because it's a disputed island, but between like Canada and Denmark. So it's just like, no one agrees who owns that rock. But I think it's kind of become like a funny, so they built an Inuksuk on it, like Canadian.
That's hilarious. That's so great. I love it. I want to go there. I want to just see. I want to see it. Well, I'll find a picture and post.
It's literally one big rock. It's you should have. I don't even know where they found the rocks to put on it.
They probably had to like ship them in.
Yeah, they probably had to bring them with them. I think it's usually like when the Navy passes by, they just sort of pop over and.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. It is literally just a huge rock.
Yeah.
In the middle of the ocean. That's so funny. Okay, so there's a 9-meter one in Toronto, on the shores of Lake Ontario. There's one in there's one that they used as a logo for the 2010 Winter Olympics. So it's a really big kind of symbol.
Yeah, they're
for
super
Canadian
like
culture.
very well known in Canada, in part because of these like public service announcements that we used to have about Canadian history. I think that they still make them called Canadian Heritage Moments or Heritage Moments. And they're like 1 minute long spots that play on like Canadian public broadcasting, basically, about different moments in Canadian history. And one of them is like an Inuit guy making an Inukshuk and saying, now the people will know we were here. And it just like, every kid that was born in the 80s or 90s and probably like a little before and a little after just has that burned into their brain, like an Inukshuk. Now the people will know we were here. Like,
wow, that's so cool.
But I'm trying to remember.
I love that.
Yeah, and there's like one really big one, and I'm trying to remember where it is.
Yeah, there's all over. There's a Canadian, I should say, an Inuvialut. Oh, God, I'm so sorry. An Inuvialut artist named Bill Nasoguluk. I wasn't even going to say this out, but because I didn't want to butcher his name. He erected a giant one that was donated by Canada in Monterrey, Mexico in October 2007. They're very popular along the Killarney Provincial Park in the North Shore of Ontario's Georgian Bay. They're like everywhere, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh, the tallest one is this one, Schomburg, Ontario.
So I was just looking it up. I think that, there's like a guy who owns a quarry that made a bigger one, but I feel like that doesn't count. You know, it's like the ones you're interested in are the ones that like Inuit people made a long time ago that were hard. You know, like they didn't have like a forklift.
Right.
Right. But it's become like a symbol for Canada, I guess, and that kind of thing. But I don't know, they're neat, and the little human looking ones, which I guess are not actually Inukshuks or like one type of Inukshuk.
Yeah, they're a type. It's all under that umbrella.
Yeah,
from what I understand.
But yeah, they're very cool looking, and they're markers to like. They're like markers of where you leave food. They're markers of where you've been, but they're also like meant to be markers of like, I don't know, something more like people have been here, you know? Mm-hmm. Like,
so one quick little story that I saw that I thought was really interesting is in 2015, a group of women in near Hamilton, Ontario, they created over 1,100 Inuksuk along the Chidoki Rail Trail to memorialize missing and murdered Indigenous women.
Oh, wow.
In order, as like an act of artistic protest to seek government action on how many, and like I don't know if we've ever talked about this, and like this isn't the podcast for it, and maybe we can there's so much information out there, but there is such a problem of Indigenous women who are missing and killed every year, and like the very little kind of help and oversight and support that these communities receive is tragic and awful. Yeah. So it did though encourage the government to conduct a national inquiry that year.
Wow. Yeah. Good. I mean, good. Yeah, because it's a huge problem, and it's really fucked up. And maybe if we can think of somewhere good you can donate to, we'll put it in our post when we put this episode up.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I love that. So moving on now to just kind of modern and spiritual use, I honestly couldn't find too much about the witchy uses, like, or spiritual meaning. A lot of it seemed pretty, the sources seemed pretty suspect.
Yeah.
Like weird websites of just like someone's blog and their opinion. Obviously, like stacking rocks can feel very meditational and like Zen, you have to kind of be in the moment and like really focus on balancing these rocks. I will say, by the way, I forgot to preface this whole rock stacking is about doing it without any kind of glue or adhesive or support system. The idea is to be able to balance the rocks purely on their own. So all of these examples I just mentioned are indicative of that. Like they're just literally rocks stacked on top of each other and using gravity and physics. So there are some feng shui kind of uses that you can use river rocks. Obviously, like bringing stone as an element into your home can be very beneficial. One option I saw was to take 8 river rocks and paint them gold and then stack them by your front door. This is by Tanya Jank, who's a feng shui practitioner in Colorado. So in order to bring monetary success and prosperity. So I don't know how I feel necessarily, honestly, about painting rocks, but, I do love the idea of like kind of ethically gathering rocks to use in your home. I will say, so one thing that I did see overwhelmingly in my research, and I think this is really important, is that stacking rocks is so popular and has become so mainstream and is such a tourist thing, you know, that it's actually become an environmental issue. So a lot of environmentalists and kind of park rangers, you know, and we're talking about also like very well-traveled kind of popular beaches. Doing it on the beach is very popular. Doing it on popular hiking trails are really trying to insist that visitors do not stack rocks. Like, please do not stack rocks. One, if they do have stacked rocks to mark a trail, you could be misleading hikers on the wrong trail because they're supposed to be using those as markers to know where they are supposed to be on the trail, and it can be very scary to get lost in the woods. So you don't want to mislead anyone. Also, it just disrupts the natural environment. Rocks are used by many creatures as part of the ecosystem, right? For shelter. It can also, they are used to, you know, prevent the soil from washing out. You know, so you're disturbing that, it can create erosion issues.
Yeah.
And fractured dwellings for small forest animals upset their birthing cycles. So, you know, doing a small little personal stack, let's say in your backyard, or like finding something, you know, in your local environment in a way that I doubt that that's honestly going to have a really negative impact. But if you're going to a really popular kind of outdoor tourist attraction, like don't do it. Like if you're a visitor and it's not your home, like I would just say, don't do it. Like don't.
Yeah.
Why disrupt? Like you're supposed to have like a zero impact, and when you like travel, right, in the natural world, like don't leave everything the way you found it. Take the garbage out and leave everything else.
Yeah. That
would be my advice.
Like I love the thing you were talking about being in Korea, and you add one rock to like an existing stack maybe, and it's like good luck, or like it's, you know, maybe like honors a mountain spirit or something, but yeah, if you see 40 other rock stacks, maybe don't make another rock stack.
Yeah. Like I didn't even touch them when I was there. I just looked at them because I didn't really know what they meant. I didn't know if there was some sort of deeper spiritual or religious meaning, and there could be for the people who did them. Like it also could just be like the guide I was with, he just did it for fun. Like he was just like fucking around. But either way, I'm really scared of fairies, which we should totally do an episode about.
Yeah, I was totally thinking that we should do an episode of fairies. You know why I haven't suggested it before is that I'm a little afraid of fairies.
Yes, I'm terrified of fairies.
I don't want to piss off any. Is just like
forest bites. Yeah,
I don't want to be wrong. You know, I don't want to fuck this up. Like,
we should find. I'm sure one of our witch friends has. I was thinking of maybe asking Rowan if they know anyone or if they want to talk about it, because I feel like we have friends who know much more about fairies than we do.
Totally, yeah.
But
it's a very Irish thing. Like some of the Irish people I know, especially older people, are very much have like stories about fairies and believe in fairies.
I've heard a lot of things. Yeah,
and those stories are usually pretty scary. So.
Yeah, they're pretty crazy. So that's why I don't touch shit when I go into the woods. Like I don't really want to I don't want to disturb anything. I don't want to ruin anything. I want to have the least amount of impact. So, which
is also like a good environmental policy too.
Totally. But at your home, you want to, you know, and I like to collect a rock or two when I go visit someone. It's just just something small to just take with me. Like, again, taking one small rock is not going to destroy the environment. So just be mindful and respectful of where you are. And especially if you see signage by like the local officials to not stack rocks, then don't do it.
Yeah.
But I love a little stacked rock in your garden or your backyard.
Yeah, you could totally do it as like, I love the idea of it as like a meditation activity to like collect like 7 rocks that you like and then practice stacking them while you're thinking about something. Totally.
Yeah, that's
Put it in one
great.
of those little things where you rake the sand, you know?
Oh, there's a little Zen stone garden, a sand garden. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much honestly as far as I got in terms of any other kind of spiritual use of stone stacking. I really don't think there's any, not that I could see at least within the first few, you know, pages of Google I went through. There wasn't really much in terms of like, this is what it means. I think it's really up to you and what you imbue on it.
You know what I was thinking about while you were talking about this, right at the beginning, is that also technically Stonehenge is like stacked rocks.
Right.
And no one knows what the fuck's up with that.
Right. And that's the thing too, is like a lot of the research.
Witchy.
It's super witchy. We should do a whole episode on Stonehenge, honestly.
Oh my God.
Because
we should go to Stonehenge and do a Stonehenge episode.
Oh my God, that would be awesome. I would love that so much.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of stacking rocks, which I thought was super interesting because a lot of this was all kind of happening around the Bronze Age throughout the world. So this was like kind of just a global human evolvement consciousness thing of like, hey, like, and it makes sense, right? Like you're going to use the materials that you have in the land and like, why not stack rocks? They're pretty sturdy.
Yeah. I love the idea that like people spread out across the globe and we're like, I was here.
Yeah.
Like, come this way, go over here.
Yeah, or just like bored and they're like, this is cute, you know, like who knows?
Yeah, right.
Like there's so many uses, and we're not really sure what those ancient stone stackings were for.
Yeah, we don't
guess.
know. An ancient game of stone stacky, Jenga.
Yeah, right. It's just Jenga. Yeah,
ancient Jenga.
But yeah. So I wish there was more kind of deeper, woo-woo, meaning behind them, but I think it's just like a nice fun human thing to do.
Yeah. I like
it can be helpful and it can be artistic,
Yeah, and it's like a connection to a person that isn't there anymore that like left a thing,
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's also like what a great way to honor the dead too, right? I love that was seen throughout the cultures that I looked at. They used stack rocks, to honor graves or memorials. That's just a nice little marker. Again, be mindful of your environment.
With mindfulness.
Don't fuck up the land. But yeah.
All right.
Maybe
I love
someday
that.
You should stack some rocks.
Mindfully. Great. Well, yeah, I thought that was cool. I don't think it needs any deeper meaning. I was interested to learn about it, and now I feel like I've learned a lot about it.
Yeah.
I had no idea
it was
so
be like,
pervasive.
Yeah. But it is. It's everywhere. I mean, God, I didn't mention like most of the stuff that I looked up because I just also didn't want to have to pronounce everything. And it just would be a list, honestly, of just a bunch of words that I butcher.
But the reality is that there's a lot. There's more.
It's everywhere.
It just keeps going.
Yeah. It's super cool. It's very interesting.
I love that. Yay. Good
Rocks.
job.
Thanks.
Rocks. Rock fact.
Rock facts.
Have you seen Over the Garden Wall?
No.
Oh, Kate, you have to watch Over the Garden Wall. Listeners, you have to watch Over the Garden Wall. It's like 10 episodes.
Where can I stream it?
It's on, I want to say either Netflix or Hulu.
Okay.
It might be HBO. It might be on all of them. It's on a bunch of different platforms. It's definitely easy to find. It's like a 10 or 12 episode kind of fall Halloween-y animated show. But it is like so good as a whole package. It's slightly spooky, but it never like gets so spooky that I had to quit, and I am very easily spooked. So.
Okay. I'm excited. I have it in my list of things to check out. I need a new show because I just finished Our Flag Means Death. Have you watched that?
Mid-watching it right now.
Oh my God, it's so
loving
good.
it. Can't wait to watch more tonight.
Yeah, you have to keep watching, guys. It's on HBO Max. It's Taika Waititi and Rhys Darby.
I love him so much. I just love Taika Waititi. I follow him on Twitter. I follow like 3 celebrities on Twitter, and he's one of them.
I have such weird sexual attraction to Taika Waititi. But I like him the way I like women. Like, I don't know. It's just like, he like, maybe it's also because this show is so queer, but like, it just kind of like buzzes it's not the way that I love, like Idris Elba, like I love Idris Elba as like a man, and I love Salma Hayek as a woman. And Taika, for some reason, kind of buzzes that middle line for me where I'm like, I don't know. You're not normally my I'm just so attracted to you.
He's a spirit. He's an entity.
And like him and Rhys Darby together are just perfection. They're so good in this show.
Can't wait to see more.
Yeah, keep watching. It is. You have to text me after you finish.
Yeah, I will. We started watching it on Sunday, and then like we went to the next one, and we went to the next one, and we were like, wait, is this whole show on here? Like, we can't do this right now. We have stuff we have to go do.
Yeah, well, they were releasing like 3 at a time, and then they released 2 at a time. Like, so it was kind of spread out, but I think you're just a little behind.
Yeah, we were just behind.
It's like all there.
Didn't realize.
But literally, it took them 3 or 4 weeks to like launch the whole series, so it's not like you're that behind.
Okay, well, good. Anyway, yeah, so we're catching up as fast as possible, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
The whole ensemble cast is so great too. They're all fantastic. Like,
yeah. It's everybody's great so far. I can't wait to see where it goes.
Watch that show as well as Over the Garden Wall.
Yes.
And let us know what you think.
Yes. So, Kate, Do you
Shall
have a
we draw a
tarot
card?
deck? Yeah.
Let's do it.
I don't know why I said it like that. Do you have a tarot deck?
Tarot deck. You know what? I haven't done my modern witch deck in a while.
Oh, yeah.
Shall we do that one?
Yeah. Yes.
I've been leaning. What? Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I just said yes. Like,
Yes.
yes.
Emphatically. You just...
yeah.
Yeah, I haven't used it in a while. I've been really leaning a lot on my Universal Goddess and my Druid Animal deck, but I love my Modern Witch deck. I think they're they're nice. I like them. They're like kind of like a bestie. Okay, what do you have to say for our listeners this week? I got the High Priestess reversed.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We haven't had her. I don't know if ever, but definitely in a while since I've seen her. Oh, you know what? While you look up on Biddy, I can pull up the description from the book I'm reading that Christina gave me, The 78 Degrees of Wisdom, A Tarot Journey to Self-Awareness by Rachel Pollack. Also, if I accidentally mispronounced her name in past episodes, I'm so sorry. I realized later that I could have been coming across as offensive, and that was not my goal.
Oh, no. Oh. Oh, High Priestess. Okay, so on Biddy, when we talk High Priestess, we're talking intuition, sacred knowledge, divine feminine, and the subconscious mind. But when it's reversed, which it was, right? Mm-hmm. It's secrets, being disconnected from your intuition, withdrawal, and silence. Interesting. It's, what number is that in, is that?
That's 2.
2,
it's
right?
Right after the Fool.
Wow. So this is like you're very early on your big arcana journey. You're like, you're coming across the High Priestess who's like a teacher. You know, like you've got the Magician is sort of like a teacher of like the conscious mind. The High Priestess is more of like your little like subconscious mind guide.
Okay, I'll read just this last paragraph. The High Priest from this book. The High Priestess is an archetype, a single-minded picture of one aspect of existence. When we reverse it, we bring in the missing qualities. The card reverse signifies a turn towards passion, towards a deep involvement with life and other people in all ways, emotionally, sexually, and competitively. However, the pendulum can swing too far, and then the card reversed can symbolize a loss of that most precious knowledge, the sense of our inner selves.
Oh, shit.
So, I skipped 3-4 pages of description before that.
And in conclusion,
you should get this book. But yeah, I'll have to sit with this more because I'm not super familiar, honestly, with...
Yeah, I feel like I never get the High Priestess. So now I'm like thinking about it. I guess if it's like, she's like the gate to the subconscious mind. She's the beginning of your major arcana journey. She's... like a magical, emotional gal. And she's reversed.
Yeah, it's in its most positive aspect, the High Priestess signifies the potential in our lives, very strong possibilities we have not realized, that we can sense them as possible. Action must follow, or the potential will never be realized.
Wow.
Interesting. So I'll dig more into this, but I'll post a picture of the card and
cool looking cards. I'll tell you what.
Yes. It has this beautiful woman of color on a laptop, because I love the modern tarot, the modern witch deck, between the classic 2 pillars, and behind her is like a sheet draped with pomegranates on it, which is the fruit of wisdom, right? That was supposed to be the apple that Eve ate. And there's like a crescent moon underneath her foot. So... yeah, cool. Intuitively, I would say, look at if you're beginning something like a new project or you're learning something, a new class, make sure you're like kind of doing everything you can to approach it from the best higher self.
Yeah. One might say, take a step back.
Yes. That's always good advice.
It's always good advice.
Take a step back. All right. Well, anyway, sorry, guys.
Well, friends, we do our best.
We're doing our best
here. Maybe you got something out of that reading. And if you did, great. And if not, we'll try again next week. Or actually,
it's not always on.
Next week I'm in California.
So that's exciting.
By the way, I'm going to California.
I didn't know that. That's great.
I forgot to tell anybody. I forgot to tell one of my bosses. I forgot to tell my therapist. So I'm sorry but guys, I think we'll be off next week.
Yeah, well, let's post. We'll do a nice interactive post, a tarot post again, and then we'll be there. We'll be back the week after.
Yeah, that's right.
Maybe with a special ghost.
Maybe with a ghost.
Maybe
We'll see.
But in the meantime, follow us at Witchcast Podcast on Instagram. You can email us at witchcastpodcast@gmail.com. And if you like this kind of fun chaos, leave us a little review.
Rating. Why not? A little review. You know, I just realized there's ratings on Spotify, too. So if you don't listen on Apple Podcasts, if you're not an Apple person, and you wanted to go on Spotify and give us 5 stars, you could do that instead if you wanted to. You can do that. Yeah. That's also super cool. So,
we'll take the validation.
We'll take our validation
anyway.
However we can get it. You can write down 5 stars and mail it to us if you really want to.
Oh my gosh. So fun. Love that. Well, then, until next time.
Hex
yeah!
'Cause it's Witchcast.
Sorry, I feel like my mind is like leaving my body, and I don't know why.
I'm complete mush. No, me too. I was like, I don't know what this card means.
Who am? Where is? Am?
What? How?